All right, let's have a conversation about Clarify Capital. They have a $750,000 no doc business loan, and I think you'll be interested in hearing more about it. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as blessed and great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee, or tea, or vodka, and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Clarify Capital. We have a maximum loan amount of $750,000, no documentation, business loan, and it's kind of cool to understand that when we talk about Clarify Capital, they have reduced interest rates that start at 7%. Think about it. In this game, in this no doc business loan space, it is very rare to get an APR in the single digits. So if you have 7%, you better grab it. They have a quick approval process. They have same-day business loans available. Think about it. If you have an emergency and you have a cash flow problem and you need some moolah to sort of pay a vendor or take care of a payroll, you can apply with Clarify Capital, and they might actually approve you up to $750,000 the same day. Bad credit scores are accepted. Minimal paperwork requirements. In terms of low documentation, they might ask for you to connect to your account statement, your bank account to their system, or to provide bank statements. That's it. They have a quick online application. So if you have any question, you can call 1-877-838-3919, 1-877-838-3919. It's very important to understand that Clarify Capital has been around for a while. As a matter of fact, they are rated very highly on Trustpilot. They have received 4.9 out of 5 stars from 156 reviews. This is kind of cool because, again, the no doc business loan is kind of a niche sector. So if you have 150 or 200 reviews, this is really good. So after evaluating this lender on tens of criteria, including the loan variety, the loan amount generosity, the cost, the reputation, and the customer service, we assign this lender, Clarify Capital, a score of 9 over 10. We believe that they have the proper system in place. They will actually look at your business. They will look at your operational history, your financials, and they will look at your credit history, and they will approve you. So how does the whole thing work? Folks, I'm still having a conversation with you about Clarify Capital. The maximum loan amount is $750,000, no doc business loan. Okay, and so you actually have 4 steps. Very simple. Okay, so you get started. You go online, you apply online, or if you don't have an internet or whatever, you don't want to go through the whole electronic process, you can call them up. You call them up directly. Again, the number is 877-838-3919. So there is no fee or obligation. It takes less than 2 minutes. When we tried this, it took us 3 minutes, but again, it's just a simple call, or they will ask you questions about the business. They'll ask you how long you've been in business. They'll ask you your sector. Very basic information. And the same questions are also applicable online. So once you apply, what will happen is that you will get matched. So Clarify works with more than 75 lenders to get you the best rate. Okay, so basically this is a marketplace lender. This is why they're able to do a no doc business loan, and they're able to approve you within 24 hours. Think about it, because they are tapping into a large network of lenders, and you will be assigned to a dedicated advisor. So this is a person who will work with you throughout the process. So that's the second step. The third step is you'll get options. So what will happen is that the lenders will bid on your loan, on your business, if you will. So your advisor at Clarify will work with you to choose the best option based on your business goals. One thing I want to say here is that you are in full control throughout the process. Nobody's going to impose anything on you. No, you calling the shot. You are calling the shots. The only thing is your advisor is going to be your advisor. It's going to advise you to tell you don't do this, blah, 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 this kind of stuff. All right. And so that's the third step. The fourth step is you get funded. So once you choose your offer, your offer is sent to the lender. The lender will do the underwriting. And if you are approved, you'll get access to your capital in as little as 24 hours. Okay. Your advisor will continue to help you achieve success every step of the way. In other words, you will be receiving advisory help, some guidance after the loan is closed. And that's kind of cool because the lender, Clarify Capital, in this case, they're not just letting you just be on your own. No, they will be advising you. They'll be helping you in terms of cash flow management, in terms of your balance sheet, your financial statements. Just make sure that your financial ratios are healthy. And this is kind of cool. Let's talk about the loan types, folks. Obviously, we are speaking about Clarify Capital. The maximum loan amount is $750,000. No doc business loan. Really good. They're not asking you for your tax returns. They're not asking for your financial statements. They don't care about that. They care about your bank account, your business bank account. In some cases, your financial statements, the software. So they will either ask you to connect your bank statements to their system or your accounting software to their software. Okay. And let's talk about the loan types. So when we speak about Clarify Capital, we have a constellation of loan types. We have unsecured business financing. So we have a short-term business loans. Here you can get up to $750,000 within 24 to 48 hours. 6 months to 2 years loan term. This is something that I should have said before. The term is kind of short though. So if you are borrowing up to $750,000, and make sure that you can pay this off within 2 years. No collateral requirements, an APR as low as 7%. This is really good. And one thing I want to see here is that if you want to, so what do we call in short-term business loan from Clarify's perspective? It's basically a fixed amount of working capital that you borrow from a lender within Clarify's network with a predetermined interest rate. So you pay it back with regular payments based on the term length. Okay. No collateral, of course, is needed for a term loan. And one thing that we love with Clarify Capital's short-term loan is that you have fast funding. So the entire process of applying for a short-term loan to getting the money in your bank takes 1 to 2 days. Think about it. 1 to 2 days, you get your cash. You keep total control. Nobody's imposing anything on you. You have a high approval rate. Whether you have good or bad credit, you can qualify for short-term financing. Your options with Clarify Capital are are scalable. You can get 10 offers or 20 offers or 30 offers. Remember, they have more than 75 lenders in their network, and every lender can bid several times. Another advantage we love is that it is tax deductible. So interest payment, as you know, is an expense, and this is totally, you can write it off on your tax return, and the whole process is transparent. So the first type of a loan you can get through Clarify Capital, no documentation required. Business loan is the unsecured business financing. We also have business lines of credit. So at first we had the business loans. Now we have business lines of credit. And at Clarify Capital, you can get business financing in the form of business line of credit. What is it? A business line of credit with Clarify Capital is kind of similar to a credit card or home equity line. So basically, you are approved for a fixed amount of working capital that you can utilize on as needed basis, right? If you don't need the cash, you don't use it. The money is sitting there waiting for you, and once you need it, you just tap into it. The best part, in our view, of a line of credit is that you only pay interest on the capital you withdraw to use, and that kind of provides the flexibility to manage business expenses as they arise. Okay, and you can use a line of credit for anything you can think about. You can buy inventory, you can buy equipment, you can manage cash flow, you can hire new employees, and with Clarify Capital, The interest rates for business line of credit start as low as 6%. We just love this single digit APR. This is just fantastic. All right. Now, how can you, who qualifies for a business line of credit through Clarify Capital? The time in business, your business must have been operational for at least 6 months. In terms of revenue, your company should generate at least $10,000 a month or $120,000 a year in gross revenue. In terms of credit rating, you should have a credit score of at least 550. So the better your score, the better the interest rate will be. But what we love is that they will consider you no matter what kind of credit score you have. This is kind of good. And if you want to get approved for a no-doc business line of credit, what we have seen is that it takes longer if you want to get approved for a no-doc business line of credit. They only have the no-doc version of things on the business loan. But on the business line of credit, most of the time, they will ask you for some kind of documentation. They will ask, for instance, for your profit and loss statement. They'll ask for 1 to 2 years of tax returns. So that will be your 1065 if you have a partnership or an LLC, or an 1120C for a corporation, and 1120S for an S corporation. They might also ask you for 3 to 12 months of recent bank statements. This is basically if you are in an industry that is considered risky. In other words, the macro trends in that industry are not really healthy, then the lender might ask for more documentation. Okay, so please keep that in mind. For the business loan, it is no doc. For the business line of credit, they are asking for documentation. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Studio Kiwi Show. We are also having a conversation today about Clarify Capital, and we have the highlight of today's show is the $750,000 business loan without income proof, and we love the fact that this is actually it's not an sorry. We're speaking about Clarify Capital, and this is $750,000 business loan. It's a no-doc business loan. You need to provide proof of income. Okay, you gotta provide proof of income, but the documentation required of you is very minimal. Okay, and I want to talk to you. So I was speaking to you earlier about the loan types, and I mentioned the fact that you'll need. They offer short-term business loans. They do offer business lines of credit, and I want to talk to you now about working capital loans. So at Clarify Capital, you can still borrow on a working capital arrangements. Okay, and here you can secure up to $750,000 within 1 or 2 days. No collateral required. Interest rates as low as 7%. You have flexible payment options. We love that. And the term 6 month to 24 month term length, and low documentation, very low documentation. And basically what they ask is mostly you to connect your bank to their system. And what are the requirements for the working capital loans? 6 months in business, that's the minimum. $10,000 in monthly revenue, and credit score of at least 550. Okay, so one thing I want to clarify here is that working capital loans, also known as operating business capital, are a short-term financing option to pay for the daily needs of running a business. And every company needs capital to operate and grow, right? So you can use the funds for a constellation of things. There is no restriction here, okay? You can use the funds to pay for any business expense, including office space rent, buying inventory, paying salaries, and equipment purchases. Everything is possible. And working capital loans options include short-term loans, business line of credit, and invoice factoring. And the cool thing here is that when you apply with Clarify Capital, your dedicated advisor guides you through each option based on your specific needs. This is what we love with Clarify Capital. You are never left alone. You always have someone behind you to kind of help you out, okay? And based on our research, we've seen a couple of use cases for working capital loans. So you can use the capital loans for one-time expenses, cash flow gaps. So if you are in an industry where you have to deal with cyclicality or seasonality, you can use the working capital loans to sort of take care of those shortfalls. Because everybody knows that shortfalls happen all the time in business. When you have an immediate financial need and you don't have the funds readily available, an infusion of working capital, whether it is from a Clarified Capital or another lender, is beneficial. You can take care of seasonal slumps. Okay, if you have some operational costs that are unexpected, those things happen, and you want to have some kind of cash reserve to take care of those problems. I want to talk to you about merchant cash advances that Clarified Capital offers. Folks, obviously we are speaking about all the types of funding that Clarified Capital offers, and we love the fact that their highlights, their marquee loan is the no doc $750,000 business loan, but they do have a plethora of other loans. And I've been talking to you about the business line of credit, the working capital loan. Now I want to talk to you about the MCA, the Merchant Cash Advance. And here you have competitive interest rates, fast approval process, access to funding in as little as 24 hours. All types of credit are eligible, low paperwork demands. In terms of requirements, at least 6 months in business, $10,000 in monthly revenue, credit score of at least 550. And Clarify is kind of cool working with certain industries. So they have contractors, distributors, bars, hair and nail salons, specialty trades, dentists, florists, barbers, healthcare providers, transportation companies, retailers, restaurants, suppliers, and auto repair shops. If your industry is not listed here, do not despair. This list is not exhaustive. I'm just giving you a simple list of industries they have dealt with in the past, but they are pretty open. Okay, so this is for merchant cash advance. Speaking of MCA, what is an MCA? I'm asking you. Yeah. So let me just break it down for you. With an MCA, merchant cash advance, you are able to obtain working capital in exchange for a percentage of your future sales. So merchant cash advances can be a quick, easy way to get funding with no collateral and no personal credit requirements. And this advances, also known as credit card processing loans, are designed to meet immediate financing needs like bridging gaps in cash flow, dealing with unexpected needs for extra funding, and taking advantage of new business opportunities. Obviously, you understand that you cannot get an MCA if you don't have credit card sales or debit card sales. You got to have electronic sales. Because the MCA provider, this is the only way they can verify the amount of your revenue. So if you are in a cash business, you cannot qualify for an MCA. You gotta have some kind of electronic proof of your revenue. This is important. Let's talk about secured business financing. With Clarified Capital, you can also get some kind of secured business financing. We call it collateralized business financing. Okay, if you provide some collateral to secure a business loan, you can get approved for a lower interest rate, since the collateral lowers the risk for a lender, right? So the lender now has more incentive, has a greater incentive to advance you the funds at a low APR. So based on, let's say, your financial situation, secured financing can be a great way to fund your company. So in terms of equipment financing, you can borrow up to 100% the value of the value of the equipment. The interest rates are as low as 6%. You can get funded within 24 hours, in some cases 48 hours. And we love the fact that the paperwork is very minimal. And you have monthly payment terms, okay? So this is kind of cool because you can use this kind of financing to buy or lease new or used equipment. And this is good because the last thing you want is to use a part of your own cash flows, right? If you can just collateralize parts of your assets, parts of your balance sheets, that's kind of cool. And you have competitive interest rates, 100% financing, low documentation requirements, okay, and low personal credit requirements. So even if they can qualify you if you have a FICO score as low as 550. And we love the fact that the process is very transparent. There are no hidden fees. Okay. Equipment financing through Clarify has no prepayment penalties. And again, you have to think about your advisor. You have a dedicated advisor who will be basically holding your hands throughout the entire process. They'll help you out. They will advise you. They will basically explain everything to you, so that you have some kind of intel about the lender, about how the system works, the Clarify system, how the whole thing works, and how do you qualify for equipment financing. So what you want to do is the amount you are looking to borrow and the APR you will get from a lender depends on three factors. So I really want you to pay attention to this trifecta here, folks. So the value of the equipment, your company's financial history, and your credit score. So this is the trifecta that is quite essential to getting equipment financing at a very low rate. And the top uses for equipment financing: vehicles, computers, restaurant needs, COVID-related equipment, office supplies, heavy equipment, manufacturing and parts, construction equipment, farming equipment, transportation needs, commercial machinery. And the duration of the loan, 1 to 5 years, monthly payments, and you have a 7 to 14 day in closing. And of course, the equipment will serve as the collateral. Last but not the least, folks, I want to talk to you about factoring and invoice financing. Again, we are going through the list of funding programs that Clarify Capital has. Obviously, their marquee business loan is the $750,000 no doc business loan, but they do have other credit programs, including the factoring and invoice financing. So what is invoice financing? Invoice financing is very important. Invoice financing helps you get a fast advance of about 85 to 90% of the value of your invoices, with most of the other 15 to 10% paid to you later. Okay, so lenders don't care. They don't care as much about your revenue, profitability, or time in business with invoice financing, because your invoices will act as the loan's collateral. So the lender will just want to make sure the invoices make sense for them to finance. The rest of your business is not too important. And the maximum amount you can qualify for depends on the total amount and quality of your invoices, as well as your credit worthiness. In other words, they're paying more attention to the quality of your customers. What is the customer? Because now the risk has been shifted from your business to your customer's business, right? So the lender in an invoice factoring arrangement will pay attention to the customer's DNB, Paydex score, for example. If they are a public company, they will pay attention to their financial statements, their balance sheets, their current ratio, their quick ratio, their asset ratio. They'll pay attention to their cash flows, because if they're a publicly traded company, all that information is publicly available, right? So they can look into their cash flows to see their operating cash flows, their investing cash flows, and their financing cash flows. Now, this is important. All right, now let's talk about. Let me give you a few pro tips. Please talk to Clarify Capital. The number is 877-838-3919. You can also call 646-695-6767. That's if you want to call them. You can email them. The email is team@clarifycapital.com, or you can visit them. They are in New York, 45 West 29th Street, number 603. And the address is New York, 10,001. Before contacting them, please, you want to keep your documents in order. They're very important. You want to demonstrate sufficient cash flow. It's all about cash flow. And you want to decide which type of loan you need from Clarify Capital, because I've given you a constellation of loans that they offer. So you better be ready you better be ready if they ask you what kind of financing you are asking for. Let's talk about the application. So, folks, I'm still having a convo with you about Clarify Capital's $750,000 no doc business loan, and we just want to have a convo about the application. So you can see on the screen here that you basically, they will ask you a few questions. You have to go to the home page, and it says here, see your funding options for free. So you're putting when your business was started, you have to put your monthly revenue, you have to put your desired funding amounts. Remember that the maximum is $750. Here we chose $350, and they're asking you for your credit score, right? So you put your credit score, and in our case we put an average credit score, so I think a 600 to 649. And you put your first name, your company name, you put your email address, your phone number. Obviously, folks, in our case, everything here is fictitious, so don't try to call that number on the screen. It wouldn't work. And you can see here that we put all this information, and to our surprise, really, to our surprise, we got approved for, you can see on the screen here, on the fourth screenshot here, we got approved for a loan that oscillates between $30,000 and $80,000 over 6 to 24 month term length. Obviously, this is a pre-approval, so basically, once you get this loan, you'd have to go through the process. You have to supply your documentation if needed, and then they'll assign an advisor to you, and that advisor, his or her job, among other things, will be to verify the legitimacy of your company, to verify the cash flows, to verify things before giving you this loan. But what I'm trying to tell you is they can pre-qualify you. They don't need to run a hard pull to do a hard pull on your credit to approve you. They pre-approve you based on the data. This is basically their algorithm, Clarify Capital's algorithm, giving you an estimation of what you can qualify for based on what we entered. You can see that if you go back to the very first screenshot where they ask us, what is your monthly revenue? The average of the last 3 months. We put 20,000 to 40,000. Chances are, if we had put 10,000 to 20,000, maybe we would have gotten a lower amount. So it's all about the input. So the output is all about the input. The output depends on the input, right? So this is something you need to think about. All right, folks, this is it for today's conversation. I was actually talking to you today about Clarify Capital $750,000 no doc business loan. And I spoke to you, I gave you an overview about the lender, how the whole thing works, the loan types they have. They have short-term business loans, business lines of credit. They have working capital loans. They have merchant cash advances. They have equipment financing. And last but not the least, they also have factoring and invoice financing. The whole system is kind of cool because you get pre-approved and you enter a few data about your business, and the algorithm will give you a loan estimation. And if you like what you see, then you call them up to proceed. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I will speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.